When a billionaire discovered his daughter was secretly meeting with a homeless girl, he was furious. But his daughter begged, "Just test her, Dad. Please." What happened in the next 5 minutes made him realize he'd been blind his entire life. The girl had no shoes, no home, no school, but she had something he couldn't buy. When his wife came home and learned what he'd done, she thought he'd lost his mind, until she saw it for herself. You won't believe how this story ends. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is. Let's start. Lily's feet were dirty, not the kind of dirty that washes off after playing outside. The kind that stays because there's nowhere to wash. The kind that tells everyone you live on the streets. She was 12 years old, but most people didn't see a girl when they looked at her. They saw a problem. They saw something to shoo away like a fly. "Get away from here, you dirty thing," the fruit seller screamed that morning. "You're scaring my customers." Lily stepped back quickly. Her stomach growled so loud she was sure everyone heard it. She hadn't eaten since yesterday. Or was it the day before? Sometimes the days blur together like rainwater in a puddle. Her mother sat on the corner, rocking back and forth, talking to people who weren't there. Mama's mind had been broken for as long as Lily could remember. Some days Mama thought Lily was her sister. Some days she didn't recognize Lily at all. Today was one of those days. "Mama," Lily whispered, touching her mother's shoulder gently. "Let's go." They walked to their spot under the broken shed behind the old market. This was home. A piece of cardboard was their bed. The sky was their roof. And loneliness was their constant visitor. But Lily had a secret. Every morning, while Mama slept and the world was still waking up, Lily walked 15 minutes to Riverside Academy. It was the fanciest school she had ever seen. The building was bright white with tall windows that sparkled in the sun. The gates were golden and shiny. The children who went there wore crisp uniforms and carried backpacks that looked brand new. Lily would press her face against the fence and listen. "Today we're learning about fractions." A teacher's voice would float out from an open window. "If you have one pizza and cut it into 8 pieces, each piece is 1/8. Lily whispered the words to herself. 1/8. 1/8. She didn't have a notebook then. She didn't have a pencil. So she used her finger to write in the dirt. She drew pizzas divided into pieces. She wrote numbers over and over until they made sense in her head. Her brain was like a sponge. Everything she heard, she remembered. Every word, every number, every lesson that drifted through that fence. She caught it and kept it. But the security guard didn't like her being there. "Go away, street rat," he would shout, waving his stick. "This school is not for people like you. People like you." Those words stung worse than hunger. One day, she stayed too long listening to a lesson about planets. The guard grabbed her arm roughly. "I said leave. Are you deaf or just stupid like your crazy mother?" Tears filled Lily's eyes, but she didn't let them fall. She had learned not to cry where people could see. Crying made them meaner. She ran. She ran until her lungs burned and her feet ached. She ran until she couldn't hear his laughter anymore. That afternoon, Lily sat on the sidewalk watching ants carry crumbs. They were so small, but they never gave up. They just kept working, kept moving, kept trying. "Maybe I'm like an ant," she thought. "Small, but I don't have to give up." "Hello there, sweetheart." Lily looked up. A woman stood above her, holding 2 shopping bags. She had kind eyes and a soft smile. She was the first person in weeks who didn't look at Lily with disgust. "Are you hungry?" the woman asked. Lily nodded. There was no point in lying. Her stomach answered for her with a loud rumble. The woman laughed. Not a mean laugh, but a warm one. "Come on, let's get you something to eat." Her name was Mrs. Anderson, and she bought Lily rice, chicken, and a cold bottle of water. Lily ate so fast she almost choked. "Slow down, honey," Mrs. Anderson said gently. "The food isn't going anywhere." While Lily ate, Mrs. Anderson asked questions. Not nosy questions, but caring ones. "Where do you sleep? Where's your father? Do you go to school?" "I want to go to school more than anything," Lily said quietly. "But they won't let me. I'm too dirty, too poor, too nothing." Mrs. Anderson's eyes got shiny, like she might cry. "You're not nothing. Child, don't ever say that. Before she left, Mrs. Anderson did something Lily would never forget. She went into a store and came back with a plastic bag. Inside were 3 notebooks for pencils, an eraser, and a sharpener. You want to learn? Mrs. Anderson said. Then learn. Nobody can stop you from teaching yourself. Lily hugged those notebooks like they were made of gold, because to her, they were more valuable than gold. They were possibility. They were hope. They were proof that someone believed she was worth something. That night, under the dim streetlight near their cardboard bed, Lily opened her first notebook. Her hand shook as she wrote her first words in her very own book. My name is Lily. I am going to learn everything. Mama was sleeping, mumbling in her dreams. Lily looked at her mother's tired face and made a promise. One day, Mama, I'm going to make us a different life. I don't know how yet, but I will. I promise. The next morning, Lily was back at the fence of Riverside Academy. But this time, she had her notebook. This time, she could write down every word. The security guard saw her and started walking over, his face angry. Lily's heart pounded. She wanted to run. But something inside her said, Stay. What are you doing here again? He growled. Lily held up her notebook. Her voice was small but steady. I'm learning, sir. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm just learning. He stared at her for a long moment. Then he shook his head and walked away, muttering under his breath. Lily smiled. It was a small victory, but it was hers. Inside the classroom, the teacher was starting a new lesson. Today, class, we're going to learn about multiplication. Lily opened her notebook to a fresh page, pencil ready. She was ready to catch every single word, because Lily had learned something important. The world might say you don't belong, but if you refuse to believe it, if you keep showing up, keep trying, keep learning, eventually the world has to make room for you. She didn't know it yet, but her life was about to change in ways she couldn't imagine, all because of a mango tree, a struggling rich girl, and a friendship that would break down every wall between them. But that story was still one day away. For now, Lily wrote in her notebook, her hand steady, her hope burning bright. And in that moment, she wasn't just a street girl. She was a student. 3 weeks had passed since Mrs. Anderson gave Lily the notebooks. They were now filled with words, numbers, and drawings. Lily had taught herself multiplication, division, and even some fractions. Her brain soaked up knowledge like dry ground soaks up rain. But there was a problem. The security guard at Riverside Academy had become meaner. He would bang his stick against a fence whenever he saw her. Sometimes he sprayed water at her like she was a stray dog. I'm tired of seeing your face here, he shouted one morning. If you come back tomorrow, I'm calling the police. Lily's heart sank. Where would she learn now? The fence had been her classroom. Without it, she had nothing. She walked away slowly, her notebooks pressed against her chest. Tears finally came, hot and angry. Why did the world hate her so much? What had she done wrong, except being born poor? She wandered without thinking about where she was going. Her feet carried her down unfamiliar streets until she found herself in a quiet neighborhood. The houses here were huge, with tall gates and beautiful gardens. This was where rich people lived. Lily knew she shouldn't be here. People like her weren't welcome in places like this. But then she saw it. A massive mango tree with branches that hung over the wall of a big white house. And under that tree, on the public sidewalk, was shade. Cool, peaceful shade. Lily sat down, leaning against the tree trunk. She opened her notebook and started reviewing her fractions. She whispered the lessons to herself. Just like always, if you have 3/4 of something and you take away 1/4, you have 2/4 left, which is the same as 1/2. She was so focused that she didn't hear the footsteps. What are you doing? Lily jumped. Standing above her was a girl about her age, maybe 13. She wore a perfect school uniform from Riverside Academy, the same school that wouldn't let Lily through its gates. Her hair was neat in 2 braids. Her shoes were so shiny they reflected the sunlight. Her backpack looked expensive, but her face looked sad and tired and frustrated. I'm sorry, Lily said quickly, scrambling to stand up. I was just sitting. I wasn't stealing mangoes or anything. I'll leave. Wait. The girl's voice was soft. You don't have to go. I heard you talking about fractions. Lily clutched her notebook protectively. I was practicing. The girl stared at Lily's dirty clothes, her bare feet, her worn notebook. Then she looked at Lily's face. Really looked, not with disgust or pity, but with curiosity. You understand fractions? The girl asked. Yes, Lily said carefully. The girl sat down right there on the sidewalk. Even though her uniform was clean and white, she dropped her expensive backpack beside her and pulled out a math textbook. Can you explain this to me? She asked, pointing to a problem. My tutor has explained it 5 times, but I still don't get it. My father is going to be so angry if I fail another math test. Lily looked at the problem. It was about dividing fractions. She knew this. She had taught it to herself just 2 days ago. May I? Lily asked, pointing to the girl's pencil. The girl handed it to her. Lily sat back down and started drawing on the side of the textbook page. Okay, imagine you have a pizza, Lily began. Half of the pizza is for you, but then you want to share your half with 2 friends. So you're dividing 1/2 by 2. That means each person gets 1/4. See? She drew circles divided into pieces. She showed how the numbers worked. She made it simple. The girl's eyes got wide. Oh, I get it. That actually makes sense. For the next hour, they sat under that mango tree. The rich girl asked questions. Lily answered them. It felt magical. It felt like Lily was a real teacher, and this was a real student. My name is Emma, the girl finally said. Emma Harrison. I'm Lily. Do you go to Riverside Academy? I've never seen you there. Lily shook her head. I don't go to any school. I teach myself. Emma's mouth fell open. You taught yourself all of this? By yourself? I listen at the fence, Lily admitted. And a nice lady gave me notebooks. I remember everything I hear. It sticks in my head like glue. Emma looked at Lily like she was seeing magic happen right in front of her. You're brilliant. Like, actually brilliant. No one had ever called Lily brilliant before. The word wrapped around her heart like a warm blanket. Why don't you go to school? Emma asked. Lily looked down at her dirty feet. Schools cost money. And you need a parent to enroll you. And you need... She gestured at Emma's perfect uniform. Everything I don't have. Emma was quiet for a long time. Then she said something that changed everything. Will you meet me here tomorrow? Same time? I'll bring lunch for both of us. And maybe you can help me with my homework? I'll pay you. Pay me? Lily whispered. My father gives me allowance. I can share it. Please? You explain things better than my expensive tutor. Lily should have said no. She should have known that rich people and poor people don't mix. She should have protected herself from the hurt that would come when Emma got bored of her. But she was so lonely. And Emma's smile was so kind. And the idea of having a friend, a real friend, was too wonderful to resist. Okay, Lily said. Tomorrow. They met the next day. And the day after that. And the day after that. Every afternoon, Emma would sneak out of her house with sandwiches, fruit, and juice boxes. They would sit under the mango tree, and Lily would help Emma with math, science, and English. Emma would share stories about school, about her father who was always busy, about how lonely it felt to have everything except someone who really understood you. Everyone at school pretends to be my friend because my dad is rich, Emma confessed one day. But you're nice to me because you want to be, not because of money. You're nice to me too, Lily said. You see me. Most people look right through me like I'm invisible. Their friendship grew like the roots of the mango tree, deep, strong, and impossible to pull apart. But secrets don't stay secret forever. One afternoon, while Lily was explaining long division using sticks and stones, a car pulled up, a big, expensive black car that gleamed in the sunlight. A tall man in a suit stepped out. His face was stern. His eyes were sharp. Emma jumped to her feet. Daddy. This was Mr. Harrison, Emma's father. one of the richest men in the city, and he was staring at Lily like she was a criminal. "Emma," he said in a voice that was cold and hard as ice. "What is going on here? Who is this child?" Emma's face went pale. Lily wanted to run, but her legs wouldn't move. "Daddy, this is Lily. She's my friend. She's been helping me with..." "Helping you?" Mr. Harrison looked at Lily's dirty clothes, her bare feet, her thin frame. "This girl is a street child. What could she possibly help you with?" The words hit Lily like a slap. Street child. That's all she was to him. That's all she'd ever be. "She's teaching me math," Emma said, her voice desperate. "I got an A on my last test because of her. She's smarter than my tutor. She's smarter than anyone I know." Mr. Harrison's eyebrows went up. He looked at Lily differently now, not with disgust, but with suspicion. "Is this true?" he asked Lily directly. Lily found her voice, though it shook. "Yes, sir. I help Emma with her homework. She shares her lunch with me. That's all. That's all." He crossed his arms. "And where do you go to school?" "I don't, sir. I teach myself." "Teach yourself." He almost smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. "That's impossible." "Test her, Daddy," Emma begged. "Give her one of my tests. Any of them. She'll pass. I promise." Mr. Harrison stared at both girls for a long, terrible moment. Then he said words that made Lily's heart stop. "Get in the car. Both of you." Emma took Lily's hand and squeezed it. Lily didn't know if she was being rescued or arrested, but she got in the car anyway. Because sometimes the scariest moments are the doorways to the best things in life. The car was the fanciest thing Lily had ever been inside. The seats were soft like clouds. It smelled like leather and expensive perfume. Lily was afraid to touch anything because her hands were dirty. Emma held her hand the whole ride. Neither of them spoke. Mr. Harrison drove in silence, his face unreadable. Lily's mind raced with terrible possibilities. Was he taking her to the police? Was he going to punish Emma for talking to a street girl? Was this the end of the only friendship she'd ever had? The car stopped in front of the biggest house Lily had ever seen. It looked like a palace from her dreams. White pillars, a fountain in front, gardens with flowers in every color. "Come inside," Mr. Harrison said. It wasn't mean, but it wasn't kind either. It was just a command. They walked through doors, so tall Lily had to tilt her head back to see the top. Inside was even more amazing. Chandeliers hung from the ceiling like frozen waterfalls made of light. The floor was so shiny Lily could see her reflection, and she looked tiny and out of place. A woman in a neat uniform appeared. "Sir, shall I prepare refreshments?" "Yes, and bring Emma's last 3 math tests, the ones from before and after." Mr. Harrison turned to Lily. "Sit." Lily sat on the edge of a couch that was probably worth more than everything she'd ever owned in her whole life. Emma sat beside her and whispered, "It's going to be okay. I promise." But Lily wasn't sure. Rich people didn't usually help poor people. They usually just sent them away. The woman returned with a tray of juice and cookies, and a folder full of papers. Mr. Harrison opened it and studied the tests carefully. "Emma failed this math test with 42%, he said, holding up one paper. "That was 5 weeks ago." He held up another. "This test, from 2 weeks ago, she scored 78%. He held up the last one. "This test, from 3 days ago, she scored 93%. He looked at Lily with those sharp eyes. "Emma tells me you've been tutoring her for 3 weeks. The timing matches perfectly." Lily didn't know what to say, so she said nothing. Mr. Harrison pulled out a blank piece of paper and a pen. He wrote something down and handed it to Lily. "Solve this." Lily looked at the paper. It was a complicated math problem. Fractions, decimals, percentages, all mixed together. It was harder than anything she'd taught Emma. Her hands shook as she picked up the pen. She could feel Mr. Harrison watching her. She could feel Emma hoping for her. Lily closed her eyes and thought. She broke the problem into pieces in her mind. She saw the numbers dance and connect. She understood. She wrote down the answer, step by step, showing all her work just like she taught herself to do. She handed the paper back. Mr. Harrison looked at it for a long time. Then he did something Lily never expected. He smiled. A real smile. This is correct. Every single step. He sat down across from the girls. How old are you, Lily? 12, sir. And you taught yourself mathematics by listening through a school fence? Yes, sir. And from notebooks a kind lady gave me. Mr. Harrison leaned back in his chair. He looked at Lily differently now. Not like she was a street child. Like she was a puzzle he was trying to figure out. Emma, he said, go upstairs for a moment. I need to speak with Lily alone. Emma squeezed Lily's hand. Daddy, please don't. Go. I won't hurt her. You have my word. Emma left slowly, looking back 3 times. When they were alone, Mr. Harrison's face got serious. Tell me about your mother. Lily's throat got tight. She's sick, sir. In her mind. She has been my whole life. We live on the streets because there's nowhere else to go. And your father? I never met him. Do you have any other family? No, sir. Just Mama and me. Mr. Harrison was quiet for a long time. Then he asked a question that made Lily's heart skip. What do you want, Lily? If you could have anything in the world, what would it be? Nobody had ever asked her that. Nobody had ever cared what she wanted. Lily thought about all the nights sleeping on cardboard, all the days going hungry, all the times people called her dirty and worthless, all the hours at that fence, desperate to learn. I want to go to school, she whispered. A real school, with real teachers and real books. I want to learn everything there is to learn. And I want my mama to get help so she doesn't have to be confused and scared all the time. Mr. Harrison nodded slowly. What if I told you I could make that happen? Lily's breath stopped. What? I've built schools. I've funded hospitals. I've helped thousands of people. But I've never met a child with your determination, your brilliance, your heart. He leaned forward. You taught yourself advanced mathematics from listening through a fence. Do you understand how extraordinary that is? Lily shook her head. She'd never thought of herself as extraordinary, just desperate. I'm going to make you an offer, Mr. Harrison said. I will enroll you in Riverside Academy, the same school as Emma. I will provide your uniform, your books, everything you need. I will also arrange for your mother to receive proper medical care in a facility where she'll be safe and treated with dignity. Lily couldn't breathe. This wasn't real. This couldn't be real. But, Mr. Harrison continued, there's a condition. You must promise me that you'll work as hard in that classroom as you did at that fence. You must promise me that you won't waste this opportunity. Can you promise me that? Tears poured down Lily's face. Real tears. Happy tears. Tears that tasted like hope. I promise, sir. I promise with my whole heart. Mr. Harrison stood up and offered his hand. Then we have a deal. Lily shook his hand. His grip was firm and warm. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't thank me yet, he said with a small smile. Wait until you see how much homework Riverside Academy gives. Emma came running down the stairs. Daddy, what did you decide? Mr. Harrison put his arm around Emma's shoulders. Your friend is going to be your classmate. And Lily, I want you to think of Emma as your sister from now on. You two clearly take care of each other. Emma screamed with joy and hugged Lily so tight they both almost fell over. The next 2 weeks were like living in a dream. Mr. Harrison arranged everything. Lily's mother was taken to a beautiful care home, where doctors worked with her gently. For the first time in Lily's life, her mama smiled at her and said her name correctly. Lily, my beautiful Lily. Lily cried in her mother's arms, and for once, they were tears of pure happiness. Mr. Harrison also did something Lily never expected. He took her shopping for new clothes. Not just a school uniform, but regular clothes too. Dresses, shoes, pajamas. Everything a girl could need. You deserve to feel like you belong, he told her. Because you do. On Lily's first day at Riverside Academy, she wore her crisp new uniform. Her hair was washed and braided. Her shoes were shiny. Her backpack was filled with brand new notebooks and pencils. Emma walked beside her through the golden gates. The same gates Lily used to stare at from the outside. The security guard was standing there, the same one who had called her a street rat and sprayed her with water. He stared at Lily with his mouth open. Lily walked right past her with her head held high. Inside the classroom, the teacher introduced her. "Class, this is Lily. She's joining us today. Please make her feel welcome." Some students whispered. They wondered who this new girl was. But Lily didn't care what they thought. She sat at her desk, her own desk, and opened her notebook. The teacher began the lesson. "Today we're going to learn about fractions and percentages." Lily smiled. She already knew this. But she listened anyway, soaking up every word like she always did. At lunch, Emma introduced Lily to other students. Some were nice, some were snobbish. But Lily had learned something important. Other people's opinions couldn't change who she was inside. She was brilliant. She was strong. She was worthy. And she was finally exactly where she belonged. Months passed. Lily became the top student in her class. Teachers were amazed by how quickly she learned. Other students started asking her for help with homework. One day, a teacher asked her, "Lily, how did you become so good at learning?" Lily thought about the fence, the notebooks, the mango tree, the hunger, the hope that never died. "I learned that if you want something badly enough," she said, "nothing can stop you. Not poverty. Not people who say you're not good enough. Not lock gates or mean words. If you refuse to give up, eventually the world has to let you in." The teacher smiled. "That's the wisest thing I've heard in years." On the 1-year anniversary of meeting Emma under the mango tree, Mr. Harrison threw a celebration. He gathered everyone in his big house. "I want to make an announcement," he said. "Lily has become like a daughter to me. And today, I'm officially making that real. I'm adopting Lily into the Harrison family." Lily's eyes filled with tears. Emma grabbed her hand and squeezed tight. "You saved my daughter's education," Mr. Harrison said to Lily. "But more than that, you taught her about real friendship, about perseverance, about seeing people's hearts instead of their circumstances. You gave us more than we could ever give you." Lily looked around the room. At Emma, her sister. At Mr. Harrison, her new father. At the life that had once seemed impossible. "I used to think I was nobody," Lily said softly. "But I learned something. We're not defined by where we start. We're defined by how hard we fight for where we want to go. And we're defined by the people who see us when everyone else looks away." She looked at Emma and smiled. "Thank you for seeing me." Emma hugged her. "Thank you for teaching me that the best people aren't always the ones in fancy houses. Sometimes they're sitting under mango trees, changing the world one fraction at a time." That night, Lily went to her new bedroom. It had a real bed, soft blankets, and a desk covered with books. She opened a fresh notebook and wrote, "My name is Lily Harrison. I used to live on the streets. Now I live in a home filled with love. I used to teach myself through a fence. Now I learn in a real classroom. I used to think I was invisible. Now I know I was always meant to shine. And if you're reading this and you feel invisible too, don't give up. Keep learning. Keep hoping. Keep believing that you matter. Because you do. You always did. And one day, your light will shine so bright that the whole world will see you.